Today is 11:24 and we have one idea left to finish up. We talked about the three big lines of evidence, and we talked about a lot of the chemical evidence. We talked about the fact that all living things use DNA, the fact that things that are related tend to share more DNA than things that are not related. And we looked at how with a phylogenetic tree, we can predict how much of a DNA sequence is going to be shared between two species. But that's not the only chemical evidence. So, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a chemical in your blood, and it's the one that moves oxygen around. No, just moves oxygen around. We try not to move CO2, on the back trip. Hemoglobin binds to oxygen specifically. And so you know that oxygen is carried to every cell in your body by blood cells. And those blood cells contain, your bloodstream contains this hemoglobin molecule. And that's an actual image of the molecule. Does that look crazy to you? Actually, that's not the molecule. That's a protein that's made up of a bunch of molecules. But on that, there are all these little sites. It's kind of like an outlet and a plug. That's a good way to imagine it. And these little oxygen molecules can just plug into the hemoglobin. And hemoglobin carries oxygen to all the cells in your body. All vertebrates use hemoglobin. So what's a vertebrate? Something that has a spine. Every single vertebrate known on this planet uses hemoglobin, which points to the fact that they have a common ancestor. There are even a few non-vertebrates, invertebrates, that use hemoglobin. And if you look at hemoglobin from a human and hemoglobin from a gorilla, which is another primate species, they're nearly identical. Could you get a blood transfusion from a gorilla? No. The blood is still different. You can't even get a blood transfusion from every single other human on the planet. You still have to have compatible blood, and humans have multiple blood types, you know that. But the chemical that carries oxygen in your blood is nearly identical to the chemical that carries oxygen in a gorilla's blood. All vertebrates, your dog, a cat, a mouse, a whale, a fish, a bird, a snake, a lizard, are all vertebrates. Their blood all contains hemoglobin. Now, there are some slight differences in the structure of the hemoglobin in all those species. But if we were building a phylogenetic tree that included hemoglobin, we could say, species A, B, C, D, E uses hemoglobin. Because we could do a phylogenetic tree, and of course, remember, this is how we did them before we had DNA sequences. We could say has fur. We could say has a spine as a vertebrate. We could say, does it have a spine? Well, we know that every single, so that would have to be a no, huh? Because every single thing that has a spine also uses hemoglobin. What else could we say? What would be another characteristic? We'd have to think of another one. But we could create a phylogenetic tree based on chemical characteristics, as well as based on physical characteristics, as well as based on, this is a terrible example, but A, B, C, and D all have hemoglobin, all have fur, all have spines. We're kind of pointing to they're all mammals. So we could create a phylogenetic tree based on those kind of characteristics as well. Okay? That's it for our notes. That was the last slide. I'm going to give you your study guides. You're going to have the rest of the period today to work on them. On Tuesday, when we come back, so they are due Tuesday, December 1st. When you come back on Tuesday, I will give you the key for that study guide. You're going to fix anything that you have wrong. Then you're going to create for yourself a video study guide. Again, I don't care if it's you writing out the text and recording your voice reading it, but there has to be an audio track. You have to have a verbal recitation of some sort. It'd be nice if you had pictures, but hey, I'm not going to push it. If you just want to write all your words and read them to the iPad, that's fine. That will be due the following day. So that's part of your method for studying. You'll have the sort of unit test / big quiz on the evidence of evolution unit on Wednesday. So test is Wednesday, 12/2. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? That's it.